This is Lauren Alexander, and you're listening to the Groove Lab podcast. Hey, thanks so much for being here. If you're a new listener, welcome. This is a podcast about the people who make up the music industry. Each week, I sit down with a music industry professional and get their take on the music world. And this week on the podcast, I've got Bailey Hager of Hager Music. She is a singer-songwriter as well as a producer. She just released a beautiful album called Miscellaneous Melodies, and I'm stoked to get to talk to her about it. So let's get her on the phone. Hello.
Hi.
I'm glad to finally talk to you. We've been chatting on Instagram for a while, so I'm glad to finally do this interview.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Your phone number said Texas. Are you in Texas, or where are you located at?
I am. I'm in Texas.
So, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. What about you? I don't recognize your area code.
Yeah. Well, my phone number is still Indiana, which is where I'm from. Indiana. But I live an hour outside of Nashville.
Well, that's cool. I guess let's just start off with tell me about yourself and your music and your journey.
Oh, wow. So I've been in Nashville now for 2 years. I moved from Kansas City, Missouri, where I went to school for a little bit. And I moved here because I fell in love with co-writing when I moved to Kansas City, and I was doing a lot of it, but then with my friends, but then they realized like it was more just like a hobby for them. And as they were going through different life stages, like getting married and things like that, I wasn't able to do it as much. And I knew I'd been to Nashville a couple of times, like songwriting camps and things like that. And I realized that I wanted to do it full time, and that it was something that I was actually like meant to do. And so I ended up making the move out here, and I actually became part of a church worship team that is signed with a music label called Integrity Music, and we've been traveling, and we put out 2 live records, and which is not what I moved here for, but it was definitely something that I love, and I can't believe I get to do it. So that's incredible and a dream come true. And so our worship team is called Madison Street Worship because our church is located on Madison Street. But so yeah, I started songwriting like crazy, the most I ever have, and I loved it. And I knew that I also like wanted to learn to really produce my own songs, and I'd been trying for years, and felt like I wasn't like getting the breakthrough that I like to be able to utilize the tools that I had. So I decided when I moved here that it would be like every day I would really try to hone that in and work on it and learn. And I had some incredible people come alongside me and like hands-on show me, give me tips and tricks and things like that, which is awesome because sometimes I feel like it's kind of competitive.
Yeah.
Like people don't really want to share their tips and tricks because they're like, no, it's mine, and I don't want to show you how I did it because it's like a secret.
Definitely.
But I actually found people that wanted to pour into and share that with me because they believed in me, because somebody showed them how to do it once upon a time.
Right.
And so I learned so much from that. And so I started producing, like just writing and producing at the same time to try to learn. And eventually, every time like I would export a song to my iTunes to listen to it later, I put it in a folder called Miscellaneous Melodies because they were all just like random songs. And eventually I had like 20 songs in that folder, and I looked at it one day and I was like, man, that looks like an album. And so then I started to like intentionally write and create for that. And so I did, and that was 2 years ago. So.
I love that. That's so cool. I first of all love that you kind of have found your people and your tribe, because I totally agree that that's something that's definitely hard to find, especially there. It can be pretty cliquish, I guess. I mean, I guess that's probably anywhere,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right. People don't really want to give away their secrets for whatever reason. But that's very cool you found that. And then I also love that Miscellaneous Melodies was the folder on your computer. And then you named your album that. I love that. That's so cool.
Oh, thank you.
So you just released your album. It's brand new. I watched your Instagram stories, and it was so sweet. It like brought tears to my eyes. You were just so excited that it was coming out, finally gonna be in the world, and I don't know, that just was really sweet to me, and it really touched me. And so I'm very excited for you.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, tell me about how's the experience been so far?
It's been amazing and crazy. I feel like I've put out a couple of projects before, like not full albums, like I put out a couple of like EPs and singles in the past, and definitely was a learning experience in my heart. But this was just different because I feel like I finally, like my songs before, they kind of told a little bit about my story, but these songs I felt like could really connect with people on a whole new level that I hadn't ever reached before. And plus you learn along the way. So I've learned like how to kind of like try to reach different people that I wouldn't have otherwise, like utilizing the internet. Like I don't remember exactly how I found your podcast, but I did. And I was like, I don't even remember how I found it. It might have been through Instagram. I can't remember, but and so I just feel like I can connect with people on a whole new level through the things I've experienced. So like I lost my dad a year and a half ago. It'll be 2 years in February, which is really crazy.
Yeah.
But I lost my dad a year and a half ago to addiction. And it was unexpected, of course. And that was like really crazy to process and probably the biggest loss I've experienced in my life. And, but I walked through it, and I'm still walking through it, of course, but, I got to a place where I could finally process it and write about it. I tried at first. I was like, man, maybe I just need to try to write a song. But trying to do that at first felt like I was forcing myself to try to heal, forcing myself to turn my pain into art, and I didn't want to do that. But the songs that are on there, there's a couple of them, really just came naturally through my grieving process. Like there's a song called What Do You Do on there, and then the song called Can You Hear Me, which is directly to my dad. And then the last song on the album is called Heal Slow. And because my friend, she wrote me a letter a couple months after I lost my dad, and she said, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to grieve, and it's okay to heal slow. And that like really stuck out to me. And so I just put it in my back pocket for later. But and so through that, now I'm like, I really want to be able to connect with people who have experienced that, and especially this year, I mean, we've all lost a lot, and I feel, and then, you know, there's other things on there. I feel like the other songs are really about other relationships, some of my family relationships, and I went through a breakup at the beginning of the year, and so it's just like, but I still wanted to try to bring like hope through it, because even though I'm being honest and I'm being vulnerable, several people have told me that it's like hopeful without being cheesy.
Yeah.
It's literally what some of my friends have told me. And so, yeah, I don't know. I hope that answers your question. It's a long answer, but
no, that was beautiful. I think it's so cool to be able to connect. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about, right? Like, you know, we write the songs for the people who don't write songs, and just, I mean, the healing power of music is incredible as a writer and as a listener. So that's pretty cool that, you know, you might help someone on their healing journey.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, do you have a favorite song on your album? Or is it hard to pick?
It is really hard to pick. I have a couple of favorites, but like for different reasons. So like song number 3 is called In a Room You'll Never See, and that song is about a family relationship that I have, that it's like we don't really believe in the same things, but it's kind of like saying, what do I got to do to show you that I still love you, even though we don't see eye to eye on some of these things, like I still love you. And that's actually the one song on the album that I completely wrote myself, produced myself, and mixed myself.
Oh, wow.
So I was like really proud of it from that aspect. So it's one of my favorites on there because of that. But probably my ultimate favorite is Heal Slow. Just because I produced it, but I co-produced it with my friend Kessler, and he like transformed it. I had this instrumental part, and he saw that it could be something a little bit bigger, and he laid some guitars on it and like drums and things, and it actually became like this like ultimate Coldplay jam, which for me is gold.
I love it.
So it's probably one of my favorites on the album for sure, because it feels good. I like the message of it, and I like the way that it transformed into what it is. So,
well, that's cool. So I know this is kind of like maybe a hard question, but because we don't really know what's happening in the future. Actually, when do we ever know what's going to happen in the future? But you know what I mean. Do you have any live shows planned or any live streams?
Yeah. So I'm kind of new to this, and I haven't really like performed like this since high school. I kind of took a break from that and focused on songwriting. And so I'm kind of putting myself out there again for the first time in a really long time. I'm 26 now, so I've been out of high school for a little bit, and so kind of nervous, but I do know that there's a couple places around town that are doing like socially distanced live shows.
Oh, cool.
And so I actually have my first show this Friday.
Yay.
And yeah, I'm like really excited and very nervous, but mainly excited. And then I actually am doing a pre-recorded live release show that will be available, I think November 19th is the date. And I'll be using like Ticketmaster and all that stuff to sell the tickets. And but yeah, we're going to pre-record it this next week, and I'm really, really excited about it because it's going to be like, there's going to be lights and visuals and live band and all that stuff. So it's going to be like really, really awesome. And we'll play through 8 out of the 11 songs on the album. So that's exciting. And then I am thinking about doing a couple of like acoustic versions of the songs like on Instagram Live and stuff like that. So
cool.
Just trying my best to navigate through all of it.
Right. We've had to kind of get creative with everything.
Yes.
But it's cool. I'm so glad we have the internet, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Well, going back, you were talking about other people sharing their tips and their tricks. That's kind of something that I've wanted to do with this podcast, just kind of make it a place where, we can all share, and we can, we don't have to be competitive, and we can be a big, happy music family. What is the best advice that you've gotten? Do you have anything that you might want to share with everyone else?
Absolutely. Because I've had people mentor me in music production and other things and believe in me, I realized that you don't have to step on someone else in order to succeed. And actually, like, so if someone I care about or that I see has potential, if they win, then I win too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should be a win for me, because if they're my friend or there's somebody in my circle and they have this potential and they're growing, then that actually is a win for me. And I think that we get it backwards.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and we think that we should hoard it for ourselves, but I feel like art multiplies, and the influence grows when we can help each other and lift each other up in what we're doing, and without being competitive. So I think it works the opposite way, and rather than stepping on each other. So I would say to share what you've learned with other people that need that help, and you'll actually see, because I've grown every time I've shown somebody. I showed somebody a couple weeks ago. I had a friend come into town, and she does a little bit of producing in more in like instrumentals, and I showed her some of the things that I'd learned, and it like was a game changer for her. And so I just feel like I grow as a producer when I help other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say ask for help, and also like give the help to the people who don't know what to do or feel like they're hitting a wall, to ask for help. And then to the other people who are further along, I would say help the ones you see potential in.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you for that. So, do you want to tell everyone where they can go find your music?
Yeah, so the album is available basically on every streaming platform, iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, all the things. And then my Instagram handle is Hager Music Official.
Perfect. I'm going to link Bailey's music down below so you can go check it out for yourself.
Thanks for listening to the Groove Lab podcast. Stay groovy.
You guys know I'm a newbie at podcasting. There's so much that goes into it. But luckily, I found Anchor, the easiest way to podcast. Not only do they have the tools to help you record and edit, but they also help with distribution. So your voice can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. But the best part is, it's free. Everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Make your voice heard. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thanks for listening, guys. So I'm changing things up a little bit. I added like 5 songs to the Song of the Week playlist on Spotify. So, I guess that's a song for each day of the weekday. Anyway, I'm probably going to continue to do that because there's just so much great music coming out and it's too hard to pick just one song. That being said, please send me your new music so I don't miss it. I have been loving supporting my fellow musicians, and also if you don't mind sharing this podcast with your friends, it would mean so much to me and really help the podcast grow. I'll see y'all next week with a new episode. Stay groovy.